All right, let me talk to you. We're back, dude.
Hey guys,
Introduce yourself, man. It's been a minute.
Jude. I missed last week. I had COVID, but
Yeah.
great to be back.
Boo.
Yeah.
Welcome back to The Last Yard. This is your podcast for all things NFL this season. I'm your host, Kevin Jamison Horton. I'll be your guy for all things NFL for the 2024 season.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's where the theme song is going to hit. I have a theme song. It's actually kind of cold. All right. All right, this week we're going to do the same exact thing. We're never going to stray. We're going to go through week 3, all the injury reports, fantasy insights, what we think about the games, stuff like that. And after that, we're going to hit you with the flash predictions real quick, knock that out. Anything you want to say before we get started, man?
It was a good week of football. I loved it. So let's dive into it.
All right, why don't we dive on into Thursday Night Football? We got the Jets defeating the Patriots 24-3. Also, you see me looking at the phone is where I have all my stats. I mean, I'm a stat machine, but I can't remember everything like that. So I got them written down. Jets defeat the Patriots 24-3. Pretty commanding victory, you think?
Yeah, it was a pretty dominant victory.
No new injuries. Not a really big surprise who won. Pretty bad game for Jacoby Brissett.
I don't know if he's going to be starting or later in the season, but they had their fair share of struggles.
Yeah.
Rod Stevenson with a very bad fantasy game.
Everybody had a pretty bad fantasy.
Second lowest of his career, I think. It was 0.3.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Drake May didn't do any better. He got sacked big on a third down play. You saw that? Yeah.
That COVID cough got me.
Yeah. Man, he got sacked real big on a play. It was rough to watch for him. As a Drake May fan, I thought he was going to be second overall. Jets had a good game, man. Aaron Rodgers, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns. I was just ripping on Rodgers last week. You didn't see. For not having a lot of yards in a game since like 21 or 2. But he finally did it. Prove me wrong, I got to say. What else? We got Breece Hall, 1 touchdown. But, he's sharing reps of that Braylon Allen a lot.
Rookie, he is a hard bag.
What do you think about the Breece Hall stock, the fantasy stock, because of that situation back there? He'll go back.
I think he's still going to produce as a RB1, but a lot of his snaps are getting.
He's getting his yards took, but he needs his touchdowns. You know what I mean? He needs a touchdown to stay up top. But Wilson and Lazard, they each had a touchdown. Tyler Conklin, 5 receptions, 93 yards. It was a good game from the Jets. They shared the well. Honestly, no big injuries. Not too crazy fantasy-wise. So I guess we'll move on to Giants defeating the Browns, 21-15.
That was an upset. I was not expecting the Giants to win that game at all, but Malik Neighbors.
Good player.
Yeah.
Giants guard Wyatt Teller is out for a couple weeks. He got a knee injury. Myles Garrett got an MRI for his foot and leg. They both came back clean. Going to be good. David Njoku is questionable for the Raiders game, but I think he's going to play because he missed this past week.
I thought he had a high ankle sprain, or did he not?
Yeah, ankle injury.
I don't know if he's going to play, but
we'll see.
It's in the air.
Big deal, though. Kicker Graham Gano, the Giants kicker, is out with a knee injury. He's on IR. Is it knee or is it hamstring injury? So that's going to be a big hit to their offense. I don't think they have a decent backup kicker. They're going to have to
sign someone off the practice squad or
waivers or something. You never know. But fantasy-wise, it was a really good game for Daniel Jones. 236 yards, 2 touchdowns. Malik Neighbors, 8 receptions, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns again.
He's going to be special, and he's actually the wide receiver 1 in fantasy right now.
Oh, that's crazy. For the Browns, you got Deshaun Watson, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns, though. Not producing on yards, but he's getting his touchdowns. Amari Cooper, though, 7 receptions, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's a good game.
He had a touchdown in the first 5 seconds of the game.
Because the kickoff was all flubbed, and they scored within 5 seconds, their first drive, right?
Yeah, their offense was just stagnant throughout the game.
Yeah, but nothing too big from that game either, except for Wyatt Teller. He's a good guard. He's a good run puller. But I'm sure they'll be okay. The Browns, I don't think they're going to be anything too great this year anyway. Next up, we got Eagles beating the Saints 15-12.
That was a very stale game. It was really slow.
Devontae Smith took that big hit.
Yeah, it was a big hit.
Knocked him out cold. You see the Saints guy spit on him?
No.
I don't know if they actually spat on him or if he was just spitting on the field. But look that up if you haven't seen it. You might want to look it up too after this. He knocked him out, got up, he spat. But I don't know if it was on him or if it was on the field.
I didn't see that one.
But Devontae Smith is going to be out versus the Bucs, obviously, Sunday night. A.J. Brown is still questionable to return. It's that hamstring. Yeah, he's got a lingering hamstring injury for those wide receivers. That's
killer.
Christ, we got Britton Covey. He's been, Covey, right? He's the punt returner, kick returner,
Yeah.
wide receiver 4, I believe.
Yeah.
IR, shoulder injury,
Really?
out for at least 4 weeks. Never know when he's going to come back. But we have a lot of injuries this game. Saints center Eric McCoy placed on IR for a groin surgery. Taysom Hill is also questionable to return. It was, I guess, a bloodbath, but I mean, it was stale.
Yeah, it was like 3-0 going into the
That fourth? Going into fourth? Yes, and then
Yeah.
both Saquon and Kamara broke off for a touchdown. Speaking of fantasy, Jalen Hurts, 311 yards, a lot of yards. No touchdowns, 1 interception, though. I don't know about him.
I don't know if he's going to be the fantasy
Demon that he was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, that tush push is not the same as it used to be without
Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Saquon Barkley, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He's going to be top 5, definitely, in running back fantasy points.
Dallas Goedert, 10 receptions, 170 yards. I would know that. I had Dallas Goedert. Started him. That was awesome. Devonta Smith, 7 receptions, 79 yards. Nothing too crazy, but then he got knocked out cold.
Yeah.
But for the Saints, Derek Carr, he had 1 touchdown, 1 reception. Alvin Kamara, 87 yards. Chris Olave, 86 yards.
It's not that good of a game.
It wasn't that great of a game. So, honestly, moving on. Those teams are good fantasy-wise, though. That shouldn't be a game that strays anybody from picking them up.
Yeah.
Vikings defeat the Texans 34-7. Who the hell would have thought, to be honest?
I would have never thought that the Vikings would have just went out there.
Crushed them, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Joe Mixon. He's questionable to return. I believe he plays Monday night, if I'm not wrong. But we'll see again. He had that ankle injury with the hip drop tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jordan Addison, questionable with his ankle injury as well. I'm sure both of them are going to play for their games.
Yeah.
Monday. Nothing crazy for the Texans other than Joe Mixon, that injury. Sam Darnold, 181 yards.
4 touchdowns. He looks like he's like top 5 MVP.
He will be in the MVP conversation for a little while. He threw a touchdown to 4 receivers, man. Justin Jefferson, 6 receptions, 81 yards, 1 touchdown. Man, I can't believe he's slinging it to 4. My boy sharing the wealth. I respect it. We had a terrible fantasy game for anybody on the Texans, though. But moving on, not nothing too crazy that game. Broncos defeat the Buccaneers. Man, I was saying it was opposite week last week. I think it's opposite week this week as well.
I was really shocked that the Broncos beat the Buccaneers because I'm really high on the Buccaneers.
I am also really high. You missed last episode, bro. I was just praising the Buccaneers for being this crazy powerhouse. They're going to make a deep playoff push. I don't think one game is enough to count them out.
Yeah, I think they'll still make the playoffs, and I think they'll be a good team in the playoffs.
I think they'll probably take the NFC South over the Saints.
And the Falcons?
Yeah. I think the Buccaneers. I think they have the playoff experience from last year. They won a playoff game.
I just felt like the Broncos came in with more energy, and
They did. You know, no bad injuries that game, thankfully.
that defense just strangled.
Yeah, I mean, if you had that defense on fantasy, Jesus Christ, I don't know why you would start it. You're an idiot if you start it. If you did, it looks. Bo Nix, 216 yards, 1 rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
That boy can run. Baker Mayfield, 163 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Only guy that was worth a damn, honestly, on Buccaneers was Chris Godwin. 6 receptions, 53 yards, 1 touchdown. I think it's too early to say anything about either team.
Yeah.
We'll see. Next week, we'll see. Moving on, we got the Packers defeating the Titans 30-14. Malik?
Yeah, very unexpected. He was a plug and play, and he's performing. Did very well.
Injury-wise, quarterback Awuzie, Chidobe,
Corner?
Awuzie.
Awuzie.
Is it Awuzie or Awuzie?
I say Awuzie.
I say Awuzie. I thought he was French. I don't know. He's going to be out for a couple weeks with a groin injury, sadly. I don't know his name, but dude, Malik Willis, yards, 2 touchdowns. I believe one of them was a rushing touchdown.
I think it was.
Pretty nice. Will Levis, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, though. That boy is like, what was it, 2020, Jameis Winston?
Yeah, I just don't think he's the answer right now.
He's not going to be.
He's young, and I think he just needs to sit under Mason Rudolph.
I could see that. DeAndre Hopkins, 6 receptions, 73 yards, 1 touchdown. Nothing too crazy from the Packers. They shared the wealth a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people got touchdowns, so it's nothing too crazy. All right, next up, we got the Colts beating the Bears 21-16. No big injuries.
I didn't think it was a very good game.
I thought it was at the very end.
At the very end, he got very interesting.
Whole like, honestly, first 2-3 quarters were pretty bad. At the end, it was crazy, man. Caleb Williams, 363 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. It was pretty nuts. He threw 52 times.
Caleb Williams?
Landed on 33 of them.
Oh.
52 times. Roma Dunze, I think it was 112 yards, 1
first
touchdown.
touchdown.
Yeah. First touchdown for Caleb Williams as well.
Yeah,
Touchdown.
but Rome took it.
Cole Kmet, 10 receptions, 97 yards, 1 touchdown. Really bad game for Anthony Richardson again. 2 interceptions, only 167 yards, no touchdowns.
Yeah, he's looking like a hit or miss. I mean,
After week 1, I was like, oh my God, I'm so high. And now I'm like,
he's either throwing a really bad pick or he's throwing a 60-yard touchdown. I mean, that's what it seems
60 air yards, bro.
Yeah.
Not like just 60 yards. He's slinging that thing. I don't know. Crazy game for Jonathan Taylor, man. 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's good for him.
That's really
He's
good.
been pretty bad for the last 2 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
2 years, I think. I don't know. Next up, Steelers take down the Chargers 20-10.
Yes.
Quarterback Corey Trice Jr. was placed on IR with a hamstring injury. Offensive tackle Troy Fatanu, IR as well. Justin Herbert's x-rays came back negative. They're all right. He's good. All he did was aggravate that high ankle sprain that he got in, I think, training camp. Right?
It was against the Panthers that he got hurt.
Yeah. And he re-aggravated it this week.
Yeah, and also Alex Highsmith is most likely going to miss this week.
I saw that. I didn't write it down because whenever I did my research, he was questionable. But he's going to miss
Yeah,
this.
he's most likely going to miss this week with a groin.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about fantasy, man. Bad fantasy game for the Chargers. I looked it up. Steelers are number 1 against the quarterback.
Yes.
Their defense is number 1 against the quarterback. Justin Fields, 252 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. One of those touchdowns was a rushing touchdown. Calvin Austin, 4 receptions, 95 yards, 1 touchdown. What else you got to say? That's your team, baby.
The defense really put the Chargers on clamps. Yeah. But the Steelers did hold the Chargers to -5 yards in the second half.
All right, next up, we got the Seahawks taking the Dolphins. 24-3.
I thought that was kind of expected. I mean,
Tua was out. Skylar Thompson was playing. A lot of injuries, honestly. Tua was placed on IR officially. He's meeting with a neurologist for further testing, I think sometime this week. I still think he should retire. Skylar Thompson, day-to-day with a rib injury. Raheem Mostert and Teron Armstead are questionable, but I think they'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Like lingering injuries that are just nothing too crazy, to be honest. But there was a lot this game.
Yeah, real bad.
Yeah. What do you think fantasy-wise? Bad game for the Dolphins.
I think it's time to hit the panic button on Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, if you're a Tyreek Hill
or Jalen Waddle, I would try to get the most you can.
Flip him.
Because, I mean, if Tua does come back, he will be a wide receiver 1. And Tua is expected to come back around week 8 to 10.
I think it was 8. They said he's on IR, so it's at least 4 weeks.
And so if you want to wait that much time, then I would keep him. But if you want to get value out of him, I would just try to get as much as you can.
It's funny he's saying this because he just proposed a trade to me for Tyreek Hill. Yeah, yeah. All right, moving on. We got Zach Charbonnet, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. DK Metcalf, 4 receptions, 104 yards, 1 touchdown. My thing is, where has Jackson Smith and Jigba been?
He's kind of lingering around wide receiver 2 to wide receiver 3 with Tyler Lockett.
It's just not a.
But I don't know where he's been.
But moving on, I hate that team anyway. Panthers defeat the Raiders 36-22. Who that? Andy Dalton.
The Red Rifle.
Andy Dalton.
He proved that Bryce Young might be the problem and might need more development. I mean,
he's a plug and play, Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He and Deontay Johnson went off.
If anyone would lose to the Panthers, it's the Raiders. You know what I mean? I've been ripping on them this entire podcast. Last 3 episodes, I've just been ripping on them, but that's all right. Adam Thielen, though, he was placed on IR with a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Safety Marcus Epps placed on IR for a knee injury. That's all I got for injuries, though, which is good. That's not too bad. Well, it is actually 2 IRs is pretty bad. Andy Dalton, 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. Bryce Young's the problem. I was always higher on CJ Stroud anyway.
I think Bryce Young just needs to play under.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton, just learn and develop because, I mean, he's young.
Yes, man. Deontay Johnson, you were right. 8 receptions, 122 yards, 1 touchdown. Chuba Hubbard, 114 rush yards, 55 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. Man, they played well.
Yeah, they played really well.
Shared the wealth. Andy Dalton shared the wealth. I was like, that's well played, man. Raiders. Trey Trucker. Don't even know who this is, honestly.
He's a running back.
7 receptions, 96 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a running back.
That's crazy, then. I don't even know who he is.
Or he's like their wide receiver 3, I'm pretty sure.
Jacoby Myers, 7 receptions, 62 yards, 1 touchdown. Pretty good games, honestly, from them. But they lost.
Silent week for Devontae Adams, though.
And he's getting pissed.
Yeah.
And pissed. So was CeeDee Lamb. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, we will get there.
Moving on. Rams defeat the 49ers 27-24. That was a heartbreak for me, man. Really bad news, though. Javon Hargrave tore his tricep out for the season. Debo Samuel is doubtful for week 4. Christian McCaffrey is in Germany now for his Achilles tendonitis. The 49ers are cursed. Can't win a Super Bowl. And then immediately after that, they have the worst injury year of 2020.
Yeah, this is not a good way to start the season.
Cooper Kupp is out for week 4 versus the Bears. Puka could miss 5 to 7 more weeks.
Really?
Yeah. At least 5 more weeks. Yeah, I know. Terrible for injuries for this game. This was pretty much the hospital bowl, I would call it. However, Brock Purdy proved that he is not a product of the Avengers. 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, 41 rushing yards. Juwan Jennings or Jerry Rice?
He is looking like the 49ers wide receiver 1.
Only one of 2 players have done his stat line. You ready? 11 receptions, 175 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Only 2 players in 49ers history have done that. Juwan Jennings and Jerry Rice.
So odd.
I mean, I don't even know. Kyron Williams, 89 rushing yards, 2 rush touchdowns, and 1 receiving touchdown. We had
3 touchdowns?
We had 2 3-touchdown games. Yeah. But nothing else. If you have Debo Samuel, obviously he's going to be out next week. Start him the week after because he was producing at, I think he was wide receiver 6 before he got hurt.
Yeah, he was doing very well before he got hurt.
Good rate. He just has no touchdowns. Next up, we got the Lions taking on the Cards 20-13. I want to talk about the pick 6 that happened with 2 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Get this. I don't think, have you seen it?
No.
There was it was right before the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes and 1 second on the clock. Hiked the ball. They sent a bunch of pressure. The Cardinals sent a bunch of pressure on the Lions. And Jared Goff throws a pick 6. The play was ruled dead.
No.
The play was ruled dead. So they didn't get it. And now everybody's like, they cheated. They cheated.
Why? Why was it ruled dead?
Because they thought it was a 2-minute warning. The clock was at 2:01.
No.
So the Cardinals won that game.
Tied it. They would have tied it.
No, because they won
20-13.
Oh, you're right. They would have tied it. At least. So could have been a different game.
Bad looks from the refs.
Pretty bad. Marcus Davenport placed on IR, tricep injury. Linebacker Derek Barnes on IR with a knee injury. Cardinals defensive tackle Justin Jones on IR with another tricep injury.
And I'm pretty sure Frank Ragnow, their center, I'm pretty sure he's hurt too.
He was hurt last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was hurt last week. So he missed this game and he might miss the next game. But he wasn't on the immediate injury report.
Okay.
Fantasy-wise, pretty good game. Jared Goff, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. David Montgomery, 105 yards, 1 reception. Not 1 reception, 1 touchdown. Amon-Ra, 7 receptions, 75 yards, 1 touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs, 1 touchdown.
You see that crazy lateral play that they had?
No.
To Jahmyr Gibbs?
That was his touchdown.
Amon-Ra caught it.
Yeah.
And he lateraled it to Jahmyr Gibbs and he runs it in.
That's cool. I need to look that up.
Very cool play.
Maserati Marvin Harrison, 5 receptions, 64 yards, 1 touchdown. Even if the Cards are doing bad, Marvin Harrison's doing good. 2 rookies from this year. Wide receiver rookies.
Yeah, they're proving that they were worth the pick.
They were at the top 10 or top 5 picks.
Top 5, yeah.
Next up, we got the Ravens taking the Cowboys down 28-25. Almost blew a pretty big lead. It was like 28-7.
20-3.
Yeah. There you go.
Really bad.
No big injuries. Derrick Henry, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. A game for him. He had only 22 attempts, which is kind of low for Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he ran all over the.
Lamar, 182 passing yards, 87 rushing yards, 1 rush touchdown. Dak Prescott, 379 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nobody else did well in the Cowboys. And speaking of that, there was a tantrum by
CeeDee Lamb.
Sitting in the end zone, like hitting his hands. He's kind of screaming at Dak.
And yeah, he came out and said, I apologize. But there might be some turmoil happening in Dallas.
You never know. Next up, we got the Chiefs taking on the Falcons, 22-17. Center Drew, I don't know his last name. I can't really pronounce it. He's on IR now. The center for the Falcons, sorry. He's on IR, ankle injury. Offensive tackle Caleb McGarry is believed to have suffered an MCL sprain.
Yeah, that looked real bad when I saw it.
He's out, at least on IR. No injuries for the Chiefs. Rashee Rice, 12 receptions, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. And man, that boy Kirk Cousins, he kind of shared the well. Drake London, 6 receptions, 67 yards, 1 touchdown. Bijan Robinson, 31 yards and a touchdown. The Chiefs are cheaters. I had my rant last week. I'm not going to have it again. But that end zone.
It was.
Yeah.
one of the worst calls I've seen, especially with the call that they got when they played the Bengals.
By the Bengals? Yeah.
And that wasn't called against them.
Look it up if you haven't. Take a look at that.
Horrible officiating.
I'm never going to let it die. I think the Chiefs are 100% the favorites to win the Super Bowl, and I think they're actually going to go undefeated, and they're going to win the Super Bowl. So that's what my deal is. Next up, we got the Bills taking down the Jags, 47-10. Not really going to question this too much. The Jags are pretty bad. 5 Jag players are questionable, but none of them should be out for next game.
It was a complete slaughter.
It was a slaughter. It was a slaughter.
No, I don't think anyone tuned into that game.
No. Josh Allen, 4 touchdowns. James Cook, 1 touchdown. Khalil Shakir, 1 touchdown. I mean, he shared the will. But no one on the Jags did well. And they even had Mac Jones come in at one point.
Yeah, it was real bad.
Moving on. That was just, it's honestly sad to even talk about, man. Next up, we got the Commanders defeat the Bengals 38-33. That was an awesome freaking game, bro.
It was, the biggest point differential for every week, the underdog has won.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That is interesting for betting purposes.
Yeah, Commanders were the biggest underdog this week.
Look at that. Betting purposes, if you can bet in your city/state. Austin Eckler is out for Sunday's game in Arizona with a concussion. Defensive end. Oh, we were talking about it. It wasn't Cleveland Farrell that got the tricep injury. It was Marcus
Davenport. Yeah, that's what I thought.
You're right. Cleveland Farrell, though, he is out with a knee injury. No big injuries for the Bengals. Jaden Daniels, 254 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. That was his breakout game. That was Jaden Daniels' breakout game.
Jaden Daniels is looking like he might have been the first pick.
Could have been.
Yeah,
I don't know. Terry McLaurin, 4 receptions, 100 yards, 1 touchdown. Awesome. Eckler and Robinson both shared a touchdown. Brian Robinson Jr., shared a touchdown. Joe Burrow, 324 yards. He has been, except for with the exception of game 1, he's been outclassing every quarterback he played.
Yeah, he's been playing really good.
324 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, finally, 6 receptions, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He finally started hitting up.
And Zach Moss, 1 rushing touchdown. Andre Yosivas.
He was...
Sorry, T. Sorry, you T. Higgins lovers. Sorry, I really have to say it. Yosivas is...
He's playing like it.
He is. He really is. But, hey, man, that's all we have for week 3 of the NFL. Now comes the fun part. You ready? Flash predictions. We're going to go through this real quick because we're running out of time. You ready? Yeah, we have to get up for this one.
Yeah, I got to get up.
Right? Cowboys versus Giants. Okay, Cowboys at Giants. So the second team is always the home team.
Yeah.
Cowboys versus Giants. Cowboys.
I'm going to take an upset Giants. I think Malik Neighbors is going to fry the Cowboys secondary.
I think CD has his game. I think he's going to have a game. So, Cowboys. Bengals and Panthers.
I don't see the Bengals going 0-4.
Bengals.
I'm going to take
Saints and Falcons.
Oh, this is a hot division matchup.
Saints bounce back and beat the Falcons.
I'm going to take the Falcons. I think Kirk Cousins will prove why
you got right now. All right. Jaguars and Texans. Texans bounce back.
I think the Texans are going to smell.
Joe Mixon comes back. Nico Collins is going to be mad. CJ Stroud is going to be mad.
Trevor Lawrence is not looking good after he got his big contract. I
don't know. Texans. Broncos versus Jets. Take the Jets.
I'm going to take the Jets. It's a safe pick.
Yeah. That's my safe pick. Vikings versus Packers.
This is going to be a high-scoring game. Jordan Love is questionable to play. He's at least trying to look to play.
Packers have been looking great. They've been sharing the wealth. Malik Willis can run everything.
I think the Vikings are going to
give me the Vikings.
Yeah, I would take the Vikings. I think Sam Darnold is good. I think he's going to light it up.
You're the Vikings? Yeah. Steelers versus Colts.
I'm going to take the
Steelers. I'm actually not even starting Anthony Richardson this week because you guys have been working the quarterbacks.
Yeah, our defense is really good.
And Colts have been looking bad. Rams versus Bears. I'm going to take the Bears.
I'm going to take the Rams. I think Kyron Williams is going to run all over that defense.
Yep. I'm going to take the Bears. Eagles and Buccaneers. I think the
Bucs are going to take it. The Eagles are looking sloppy.
Very, very sloppy.
They have a lot of injuries too.
A lot of happy feet from Jalen Hurts running around.
Yeah.
A little more than he is looking down the field. But, I mean, with that being said, they don't really have a wide receiver 1 anymore.
Or 2.
Both there. Yeah, well, DeAndre Smith became their wide receiver.
Yeah.
He would be a wide receiver 1 on a couple of the teams.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, with that being said, Buccaneers. Patriots versus 49ers. I think the 49ers bounce back.
I think the 49ers are going to win.
If it is the Patriots, I will I'll do a funny little jig next episode, and I'll do a little dance here. I don't know. Commanders and Cardinals. Commanders.
I'm going to take the Commanders.
Although I did take the Cardinals.
They're going to be good. They're going to be right at the wild card line.
6.
I think 6 or 7.
I got the Commanders, though.
Yeah.
Chiefs versus Jaguars. Let's not even... Yeah, we don't even need to talk about it. We know who's going to win. They're going to go undefeated. They're going to win the Super Bowl. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are winning that one.
Browns versus Raiders. Ooh.
This is going to be a very sloppy game. I think the Browns are going to win.
For the sake of being different, I'm going to take the Raiders because I like Gardner Minshew. Bills versus Ravens. The Bills are going to take that. Ravens are sloppy. The Ravens, if they have a lead, will always lose a lead. They play up to their opponent, so I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
I don't want to say it, but I think the Ravens are going to win that one.
Titans versus Dolphins. Titans.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Titans.
And Seahawks versus Lions. I'm going to take the Lions. I think the Seahawks finally get their match.
I'm going to take the Seahawks. They've always had the Lions number, and I think they'll take it.
I think they finally face a good opponent, and they're going to fall.
Yeah.
But, hey, man, that's week 4.
Yes.
And that was also week 3, so you know what I mean?
2-1.
2-1. You only get 2-1. So thank you guys for watching. Anything you want to say?
Stay tuned, and fantasy updates will be the greatest thing on this show.
Fantasy updates are always going to be fun. Injury updates are always good for your team as well. And, hey, man, betting purposes, we've kind of missed on almost every single one of our predictions for the last, 3 weeks. But not this week. Not this week. Thank you for tuning in to The Last Yard. Have a good day.